it because we can edit out when we're laughing and being ridiculous.
Okay, cool. Okay. Oh, is my phone on the computer? That's the only thing I was thinking about.
Yes.
I'll just put it on the floor in case it hurts.
Got it. All right. Whew. Okay, so can you tell me about what you're aspiring towards with your students? Why does that matter? And what context is important to know?
Yes. You can't laugh. Oh, God. Now I forgot the question.
I was sitting and smiling. I was trying to be, pleasant.
Okay.
What do we eat? I looked over.
Yeah, maybe just look out the window and then I'll just talk.
Oh my gosh. Whew. Okay. 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 Can you tell me about what you're aspiring towards with your students? Why does that matter? And what context is important to know?
Yes, so I work with a variety of students across a variety of settings, ranging from a smaller self-contained class, which is 5 students, to larger co-taught classes with about 28 students. What I work towards with all students is really them developing their sense of self, being confident in who they are academically and socially and professionally. Man, I forgot the rest of the question.
That's okay. Why does that matter? So, why do those things matter? Like confidence and that access to opportunity.
In order to be prepared for the opportunities that we are working to give them access to, that it's important for them to build that confidence and to build those skills and build that knowledge base, and to develop those mindsets, such as critical thinking and taking risks, and having a sense of community and feeling important. Those are all important to them so that when they leave my classroom, leave my space, those skills are transferable and they're able to carry those into a life of whatever meaningful work looks like for them.
What gives you confidence that you are achieving transformational and enduring results with your students?
Well, I've been fortunate enough to work with 2 grade levels, 11th and 12th. So a lot of the students I have this year, I also taught last year, or I was their case manager last year as well. So I've been able to kind of really help them track how they've grown in a lot of different areas academically as it relates to science content and science skills, and also transitionally, so their transitional goals, if they've been planning to go on to college or get a job or join a certain program, I've been able to also track them through that progress as well. As of now, on my caseload, students I worked with last year and this year, 90% of them have applied to a post-secondary education opportunity. The other 10% has already secured a job after high school that is meaningful to him. 60% have already been accepted to post-secondary education programs, and we're now in the next steps of getting the FAFSA completed, getting them in contact with the disability offices at their schools, and kind of really having them taking ownership of that process and advocating for themselves once they won't have me anymore next year.
Can you give one example of a student who has really shined in that area of ownership on this path that you just talked about?
Yeah, I talked about Dextra. I taught Dextra last year and this year, co-taught science. And last year was his first year moving into the larger classes. He's still in some self-contained, but it was his first year moving into the larger classes, and he wasn't very confident academically. He didn't really care much about what we were doing in class. He was just kind of there because he had to be. So I worked really hard and kind of really figuring out like what his interests were and like how I could relate that to what we were doing in the classroom, and then working with him transition-wise, really helping him figure out what he wanted to do, like what he was already felt that he was good at and what skills he wanted to hone and how he could turn that into a career path afterwards. So we, through a lot of like conversations with him and his mom last year, we figured out that he really wants to go into culinary arts. So this year, when we got into the college application cycle, he was like, "Miss Croone, can you help me identify programs that would be good for me that can help me study culinary arts?" Like, his attitude and his motivation it's just come around so much, and he's taking a lot of ownership of the process. So I pointed him into the direction of some programs that were local that I thought he'd be good at, some that weren't so local. He applied to the local ones. He got in. He's excited, and right now we're going through the process of kind of finding that funding and getting in contact with the disability offices at those schools.
Great. Students who have left your grade level and content area or your school have met challenges and opportunities. What gives you confidence that your students have developed an understanding of their strengths and skills enough to overcome the challenges and seize the opportunities that will come in their future?
One thing that I've learned about my students is that they are so resilient. Throughout their lives, they've seen so much change within just our school. They've experienced so much change, whether it be like teacher turnover, new teachers coming in each year, or teachers leaving mid-year, or even LRE changes from a smaller self-contained class to a larger co-taught class, and really trying to figuring out how to advocate for themselves in that setting or feel confident in that setting, and just really have positive self-talk. So I've really been working with my students in self-contained and co-taught, and then some students that I don't even teach, to really just develop a positive self-identity and be able to articulate their strengths. And then also a big thing for me is helping students to realize when they need help and how exactly to ask for the help and who to ask for the help. So that's another thing I like hammer into the students, like, okay, if you feel like you can't do this, that's fine. There are a lot of things I run into all the time that I can't do. However, I don't just stop there. I figure out who can I ask to help me, or if I don't know exactly who I can ask, who can I trust that will point me in the right direction to kind of get me what I need. So that's what I've been working on with them, and then conversations with them like now from last year, and even the ones who've come back to school to visit, who graduated last year, like that's something that's really been instilled in them.
I'm pausing to make sure we're actually recording it.